Hey, Freedom Team. Happy Monday night. Super excited and slightly nervous to have my dear friend Robin on tonight. For those of you that don't know Robin, number one, you should. But Robin is like jack of all trades. I mean, she's everywhere. She is a top diamond in the company. She went to Portugal with us. She's on advisory board with Britt. She's a jewel trainer with me. She really does it all amazingly well. She's a mom of two girls. Her husband, Derek, is a friend of ours from Portugal. Like I said, him and Brandon broed it out. And apparently he throws a mean fish fry. So I'm going to go to Louisiana and I'm going to crash a party one time. And it's going to be the best time. So what I wanted to have Robin on to talk about tonight, she's going to just kind of share from her heart. But Robin is somebody that people think just kind of ended up on the scene in 2020. And they were like, oh my gosh, she is a firecracker. Like her team's exploding. She's got jewels left and right. What's this girl doing? I thought that. I mean, I didn't know either. And then when I got to know Robin and began to learn her story, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there was so much ice under the surface of the iceberg. Like Robin on scene in 2020 was just the tip of the iceberg. And there was so much ice underneath that I wasn't aware of. So just wanted her to share about her journey and why it's okay sometimes for things to take longer than you would like, or require more than you anticipated, or cost more than you thought, and why it's still worth it to work it in the meantime. So Robin, I'll stop talking and I will let you take it away, girl.
Oh, thank you, sweet friend. So I am a huge fan of both Christina and Brittany. They are both dear friends of mine. I love working with them, and they've been one of the biggest blessings since I've been a part of this Plexus journey. So I appreciate you guys having me on, because I've learned so much from Christina and Brittany's leadership and your entire team. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So Christina asked me to talk about overcoming challenges. And I feel like I'm probably the queen of that, because my journey started with challenges. I had a lot of preconceived notions about whether I could do something like this. At the time, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me who were doing Plexus. And so that was the first piece of head trash I had to overcome. And then not having an upline, me, not seeing people with my sphere of influence doing this, it taking a lot longer than I thought it would. And let me remind you, Brittany and Christina and I joined in the days of people hopping on the bandwagon and going diamond in a year or two. And so Brittany and Christina also know a thing or two about persisting without exception. And so I'm going to give you 10 things that have really helped me to overcome challenges in my business. And I'm going to end with a little story time, because I love not trying to like reinvent the wheel. And if I know something profound that I've read or learned, I like to share it with other people. Is that okay? Are y'all cool with that? Okay. So first thing that has really helped me along the way to overcome challenges is that I had to come to the realization early on that I am the only person that is responsible for my success, hands down. I had to get over the fact that I didn't have a working upline, that I wasn't going to get a shout out for earning any of the boots or the whatever it is. Like I wasn't going to get that because I don't have upline, right? And so I had to get really, really serious about whether or not I wanted to do this, and really why I wanted to. Did I want to do it for just the accolades, or did I want it because I wanted to transform people's lives? Okay. So I had to take personal responsibility for my success. And the best part of life, y'all, is when you decide that your life is your own. Like, man, there's so much freedom in that. No one to lean on, no one to rely on, no one to blame. You are in full control of your future. You 100% are. Okay. Second thing, I had to come to terms with the fact that I did not need to reinvent the wheel. So a lot of us, and I know a little bit about this because I have a team of highly successful executive level women. Like almost no one on my team is a stay-at-home mom. Almost no one on my team homeschools. Almost no one on my team they have really successful positions already, right? And so that's even harder for people that are in positions of quote unquote power in their 9 to 5, because they start something like this and they're like, oh, like this is different from anything else I've ever done. I have to actually learn some things. And so the ego has to kind of go out the window. And so go into this knowing that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You have an amazing upline lineage. I know this for a fact. And so because you have this all at your fingertips, just be coachable and take it all in. Be a sponge, right? Try some different things on for size. Don't think that you know everything, because guess what? None of us do. I'm constantly learning from different leaders in the company, including your leaders, because I know even though I feel like I've had quite a bit of success in this business, I ain't got it all figured out, right? So I just keep pressing in. Okay. So don't reinvent the wheel. And by the way, y'all, Brittany and I and Christina, we started in the days of there were no resources. It was just whatever we could figure out on YouTube and just follow the right people. Now we're literally inundated with resource after resource, podcast after podcast, training after training. And so there's no reason for you to go reinvent the wheel. Number 3, there is no progress without action. Every single day in my business, I make a conscious decision to move forward. Okay. If I start my day with intention, right? And I go into my day every day with my job is not to perfect anything. Okay. And I'm a one on the Enneagram. Like I am a recovering perfectionist. Okay. But I have to go into my day every single day with knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but I just got to make progress. So guess what? Every single day, even as a diamond senior Ruby in this company, I went and sent a sample to a lady down the street. I had my child recruiting for me. She came home from school the other day and was like, Mom, I think one of my girlfriends or one of my friends' moms wants to try plexus. I was like, oh, you ain't said nothing but a word. So I get my little sample pack and I take it down the street. And I'm like, this is what you have to do, even when you are a 4 and 5-star diamond. Okay. Because school's never out for the pro, and there's still thousands upon thousands of lives that you need to be changing. Okay. And so go into every single day thinking about the progress that you can make, right? And the action that you have to take in order to make progress. Because just scrolling Facebook, hopping on the calls, taking all the notes, if it's not tied with some activity, then it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Okay. I know I'm a little bit country. Number 4 is persistence always wins. Guys, there is such a thing as the compound effect. Many of you saw that happen within Christina's team, within Brittany Howard's team, within probably a lot of your teams. Let me tell you, if you just persist without exception, if you just make a decision that quitting's not an option, I'm just going to keep doing the things no matter what, because guess what? The average person, this business is so simple to do, meaning the to-dos, posting, reaching out to people, expanding your network, sending the sample to the lady down the street, following up with folks, listening to podcasts, like feeding your mind, right? Because this is 80% mindset and 20% skill set. Doing all those things, they're actually pretty simple to do. Okay. It's one of the reasons why I love this business. But these are things that are also simple not to do. Okay. And so you have to come to the resolve that no matter how much I don't see the fruit initially, I'm going to persist without exception. And the reason why you persist is because there's no reason why a Brittany Howard or Christina Williams or Robin Sullivan would lie to you and tell you these things didn't work if they didn't. We would not tell you that they worked if they didn't work. They 100% work. I am telling you, I'm living proof. I just continue to do the things. There were many, many days, there were many, many months. Honestly, y'all, there were many, many years that I did this business and I was like, I was still in the same place I was 3 years ago. I was an emerald for 3.5 years. Did y'all realize that? And I don't mean an emerald like 2,600 points. I mean like scraping and scrimping to be at 1,500 every month. Okay. I did that for 3.5 years. And some of you may be, oh, that's a great place to be, Robin. Emerald. You're still ranking emerald. It was, but not when from the rank of gold, I was working as a diamond. So you see how much doubt could have crept in my mind? If I'm working like I was a diamond since I was gold, I quit my career as an assistant principal, as a gold ambassador to do this full time. And so most of you, a lot of people would go into this thing, okay, she went into this full time and it still took her 4 years or 6.5 years, almost 7 years to get to diamond. And she stayed at emerald for almost 4 years. Lots of reasons why my head trash could have taken over and I could have walked away. But what if I had? Right? So many thousands of lives would not have been transformed, right? And we're just getting started. Y'all are just getting started. Did y'all realize that? We're just getting started. So the other where am I at? I don't even know if I'm 4 or 5. I'm on 4. I'm
You're
on 5.
finishing 4, moving into 5. Yep.
Okay.
And
All
you're
right.
killing
Persistence
it.
always wins. All right. Number 5, focus is everything. Focus is everything. Oh, you're so welcome. I could be even more transparent. I have tons of stories I can tell you. Focus is everything. And then this is so important for you to realize, y'all. It is so easy to look to your left, look to your right, and get distracted. I had 1,000 reasons to get distracted and get derailed by looking at all the people, and Brittany has shared the same story, all the people that were rising up the ranks faster than I was, people that were earning Hawaii, and I missed the mark by 30 days. Like I had to wait a whole year to go to Hawaii because I went Emerald in August of 2015, and everybody before, all my colleagues and all my sideline sisters went Emerald in July of 2015. They had to wait a whole other year. So all these reasons, I could have not stayed the course, and I could have gotten distracted, and I could have lost focus. But I decided that this was something I was going to do no matter what. And that's the type of resolve you have to have, because guess what? No one else is going to have that resolve for you. Your husband isn't, your kids aren't, your best friend isn't, your mom isn't. You are going to have that resolve for yourself. Like, no matter what, I'm going to do this. And honestly, y'all, I kind of get a kick out of being in competition with myself. Anybody kind of feel like that? Like, you like competing with yourself. You're like, I just need to do this so I can see that I'm succeeding. Like, I don't care if anybody else is on the bandwagon. I just want to know, can I do this? Can I actually see this through to completion? That needs to be your resolve. Okay. Focus is everything. Number 5. Number 6, failure is necessary. Guys, if this were simple, everybody would be doing it. Wouldn't everybody want to work from home and make multiple 6 figures a year if they could? Everybody would want to do that. Like, I think about my life now in comparison to what it was like 9 years ago when I was working as an assistant principal in a school building in an office with no windows, fighting fires every day, putting out fires. I mean, can you imagine the things that are happening in school systems today where I would be? Oh my gosh, I would have been under a jail somewhere. Like, they would have thrown me in jail. I would have too many arguments with parents because the parents would want me to hold their kids accountable, all the things. I mean, all these crazy things would be happening as they are now in the school system. And I knew that I wanted to be home more for my girls. They were 3 at 6 at the time. They're now 12 and almost 16. So they've grown up with plexus. And what a blessing it has been for me to be at home with my girls, right? So one thing I had to come to terms with is I'm not going to be successful at this every single time. Like, I just have to accept that failure is a part of this, and I have to fail forward. I've never done sales. I've never done marketing. No one goes to school to learn how to be a professional network marketer, right? And so you have to embrace this idea that you're going to fail at some of these things that you're trying on for size. But guess what? You just course correct. I look at everything as a course correction, and then you keep moving forward, right? Number 7 is positivity fuels productivity. 80% of this is mindset, y'all. What's going on in between your ears? If you do not take your thoughts captive, if you do not get really serious about mindset and stop thinking it's this hokey thing and that affirmations are hogwash and all the things, it is not. Your words matter, your thoughts matter. All of those things are really critically important. And so thoughts become words. You already know that. Words become your actions become your habits, and your habits become your destiny. Bottom line, most of you are very familiar with CTFAR, your consequences, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and then your results. That is what this is. You have to look at where your thoughts are. How are you thinking about your thinking? This is so incredibly important. And I know none of these things that I'm telling you are new things. I know every single one of these things your leaders have shared with you at some point. But I cannot understate the importance, and I cannot overstate the importance of you focusing on your mindset. So when a negative thing happens in your business, a person quits, a person goes ghost or into witness protection, A person never even starts to take the product. You send a free sample. They never even try the sample. You try to hunt them down in Messenger. They continue to not respond. All the things that we deal with that we can allow to derail us, right? Because we start to create these tapes in our head. Well, why didn't they respond? Well, why? I saw the bubble go down in Messenger. I know they saw the message. Why are they not responding? All these things that we do, right? You have to take those thoughts captive and stop making assumptions about people. Is one of the biggest things that helped me in my life is when I stopped making assumptions about anything. It's one of the 4 agreements. If you've ever read the 4 agreements, never make assumptions. And so I don't. I don't make assumptions about anybody who could possibly build this business. I don't make assumptions about anyone who could benefit from the products. I don't make assumptions about what people are doing and why they're taking so long to say yes, because it's a priority for me, but it's not yet quite a priority for them. And so you've got to stay positive in everything that you do in this business, because that is going to fuel your productivity. Number 8 is you must believe that you can. You have to believe that you can do this. And I will say, I had a father who spoke life over me. He's been dead almost 15 years, y'all. But what he instilled in me is priceless. He made me think I could literally like change the world. He literally said that to me. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it. And I know that every single one of you may not necessarily have a physical father or physical parent who made you believe that you could do anything in the world that you set your mind to, but you do have a spiritual father. And so I really want to encourage you, if you're not in a place where you really believe in yourself, do the personal growth work that's necessary to instill that confidence in yourself, because you can and will be able to do this as long as you believe that you can, and as long as you stick with this and persist without exception. 100% you can. I'm telling you, factual information. You will reach the top if you don't quit and if you believe that you can. And 2, just really focusing your identity within Christ. I mean, I cannot tell you how much that has served me in this business, because this business is a faith walk. Like, there's so much uncertainty. It's one of the reasons why I love this journey, because all my life I spent a lot of time dotting my I's and crossing my T's. Like, I was a rule follower. I was like, oh, go and I study, I make good grades, and I make the right choices, and I make sure go to school, and then I get married, do the things in the right order, blah, 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 all the things your parents tell you, right? And it was probably a really risk-averse life, because I was just making good choices for the sake of not like screwing up my life, right? But I was doing all that within my own strength. But doing this journey, it forces you to take that leap of faith, because you can't do something like this within your own personal strength. You can't. You have to rely on something bigger than yourself, which is why your vision has to be so much bigger than just this business being about you and how your family can benefit, right? And that brings me to number 9. Helping others is a big part of being successful, 100%. Successful people constantly come up with new ways of helping other people, right? And your long-term success is directly tied to how well you serve your community. And so very early on in this business, I realized that this was so much bigger than little old Robin. Like, there are people in my sphere of influence in my community who need relief from blood sugar imbalance or inflammation or poor gut health. They need to turn their health around from the inside out. There are people in my sphere of influence who 100% need to create more margin in their budget, 100% need to get out of debt, 100% need to know that there's another way than just working for the man for the next 40 years. And so I took it on as a moral responsibility. It was like, it's my job. If I know something that's out there that can help them, that doesn't require them to go back and get a 2nd or 3rd degree and go into school debt again, then by golly, I need to tell them about it, right? And so helping others is going to be a big part of you being successful. And then finally, number 10, success is a journey of countless baby steps. It's really in keeping with our small wins theme and hashtag that we have going with Plexus Corporate. Like, every single step of the way, you need to celebrate that, right? Even if you're just celebrating it yourself. Because remember, guys, I didn't have anybody celebrating me. Nobody was celebrating cheering Robin on. I'm one person away from earning my 2nd pair of boots this month, and earned the North Face the month before, and all the things before that. Every single month I earned, and I don't ever have anybody shouting me out. But guess what? I shout myself out in my own head. Like, you go, Robin. You do your thing. You keep it moving. You keep leading by example, because guess what? Your team is going to follow what you do. Okay. And so make sure that you are understanding and grasping all these countless baby steps in your business. You went live, you don't normally go live. Count that as a win. You started walking, you hadn't been walking before, and exercising. Count that as a win. You have started drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. Finally, count that as a win and celebrate those wins. And guess what you'll find? You will find that people in your sphere of influence, they're going to be attracted to that, right? Because they're like, man, I want to win like Robin. I want to like not go out and get something to eat at the fast food restaurant because I have my little matcha bar and my thing and I didn't fail at the reset. And so I'm going to keep going. All those are small wins that you need to celebrate. So I feel like I've talked 50 miles a minute. I don't even think I could do my story time. I feel so bad, but I hope this was beneficial for you.
Girl,
guys.
you can do your story time. We're all like
Story.
we're all right here, like whatever you give us.
Well, I'm really going to read y'all something. Like, do you mind if I read you something?
We do not mind.
Okay. So if somebody has to hop off, I totally understand. So
they have to stay on for the arm wrestle between Britt and I over who's going to get to be your official shouter outer from now on. We've decided you need a shouter outer. So we have to like paper, rock, scissors.
Shouter outer. Y'all are nuts. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to read something to you really quickly. It's from a book called Knowing Where to Look. And a lot of times when people get asked to be on calls like this, like I asked Christina to be on my call a couple of weeks ago, and she asked me to be on her call, and then corporate asked us to do calls. The goal, the whole purpose, and the number one goal is to inspire you, right? And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about inspiration, and then I'm going to end with the number one thing that has helped me to overcome obstacles in my business. So I'm going to talk to you about the opposite of inspiration. I'm just going to read from this book, an excerpt from this book. Okay. It says, inspiration is indeed within all of us, but we all also have an inner voice of fear whose job it is to constantly warn us about everything that can go wrong if we listen to inspiration. Genetically, our brains are predisposed to heed the warning of the voice of the fear voice. The fear voice is extremely risk averse. Anybody relate? Especially in moments of security and comfort. If we risk disrupting a familiar and comfortable environment full of resources and validation, our brain will cause us to worry incessantly for our safety. This is just from primitive days, right? And we feel concerned about moving away from that environment or potentially running out of resources, right? Like time, money, or love. And the voice of fear is not shy about expressing those worries to us through an obsessive and often paralyzing inner dialogue wherein we talk ourselves out of taking the leap of faith and become convicted that life will be much safer in the long run if we stay put and play it safe. Anybody relate to that? I'll keep going. Instead of following our innate curiosity, we've learned to suppress it or dismiss it as unrealistic or foolish and return to our routines, our status quos, our normalcy, where life becomes increasingly dull and uninspiring. Anybody relate to that? And only when we get sick or fired or broken up with, or we suffer some other unanticipated loss, do we search within ourselves for what we truly want in life. Only then will we be willing to take the leap of faith, because life backed us into a spiritual corner by stripping away what was most precious to us, our sense of familiarity. And we literally have nothing left to lose. And this is a quote by Anais Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Life is a process of becoming, a combination of states we have to go through. Where people fail is that they wish to elect a state and remain in it. This is a kind of death. Living never wore one out so much as the effort not to live. I'm going to say that one more time. Living never wore one out so much as the effort not to live. Life is truly known only to those who suffer, lose, endure adversity, and stumble from defeat to defeat. Perfection is static, and I am in full progress. Abnormal pleasures kill the taste for normal ones. Incredible. This is why you see this through to completion, y'all. This is why. Because bottom line, any inspiration that seems personally beneficial doubles as community service, because you are also doing it for the greater good. And if you keep your focus on that bigger picture, you'll be more inclined to act. And that's why you overcome obstacles, because this is bigger than just you. Thank y'all for letting me share.
Oh my gosh, Robin, that was so good. I'm over here like, next time somebody asks me to do a call, I know exactly what I want to talk about. I loved it all, every single tip, especially where you said start your day with intention, because you do that. Like you do that no matter where we are. We can be on the off day at Jewel School and you wake up with intention. Like, you know who you're going to have breakfast with and what you're going to talk to them about and questions you got. Like you're very intentional. Reminds me a lot of Brittany. So thank you so much. I owe you the world. I don't think that you can know how timely this call is for our team. So appreciate you a ton. And I will see
I have a question. Can I ask a question? Robin, do you
Sure.
have 2 minutes so I can ask you something?
Yeah. Is this for Brittany? Oh yeah.
Yes, me. It's me, Britt. So first of all, I'm not as intentional, Robin. I think she rolls out of bed looking like she looks. I'm not even kidding. I've never seen Robin not look like she looks right now. And I'm like, how do you do this? I need her secrets. But anyway, she literally just shows up on every call looking like somebody you want to pay attention to. But so I loved how you talked about focus, because we talked a lot about that today. And somebody even said in the chat, was she on our call today? I'm like, I don't think so. I think that's God. That's what that is, God. But you said you were Emerald for 3.5 years. Tell us how you broke out of Emerald. What did you do that got you from Emerald to Diamond?
Well, it's so funny that you asked that specific question, because it's also probably the Holy Spirit that makes you ask that, because today I was searching something on my team page and I happened to pull up, and I don't know why whatever I searched pulled this up, because it definitely was not a hashtag, but it pulled up my video that I did for my team, like a live video that I did for my team on April 1st, 2019, the day that I decided that we were going to go Emerald Sapphire that month, after being at Emerald for 3.5 years. And it was right after we had a huge iPad incentive. Okay. So anytime you have, the company has created some momentum for you with huge prizes and specials and all the things that Plexus does for us now pretty consistently. So you've got the company that's pushing you into momentum, giving you lots of things to put yourself in momentum. And then you catapult yourself into momentum with high recruitment, high activity. And then you have your team is also, they're also going into momentum because they're watching you lead by example. That is really when you want to leverage a rank up. And so that month we had added over 300 people, and that was huge for me being a struggling Emerald back then, right? And so we'd added over 300 people. And back in the day, just so you know, if you aren't an OG and haven't been around as long as Brittany and I and Christina have, you used to not get pay points on the month that you signed someone up. You would have to wait till the following month to get pay points. And now you get business building bonuses and you get pay points. Okay. So we're double tipping all the way. And so all those people that got added in March, I was like, okay, they've got to stick, but I want to make sure. And welcome packs, you didn't get points on it. It had to be 100. They had just given it like a special for $199 welcome packs you could get points for. Okay. It used to be you couldn't get any of them, but then now they changed it. At the time it was $199 welcome packs. And so I just distinctly remember, and it was, I woke up and I felt like the Holy Spirit was nudging me to go go Sapphire that month, to push for Sapphire that month, because technically I really would have waited. I wanted to have 2 big recruitment months to then try to go Sapphire in May, but the Lord really nudged me to go for it in April. We grew by 1,700 points that one month in 30 days. And it was such an incredible act of God. I mean, there's no words for it. I mean, it was one of the reasons why Plexus probably asked me to speak on behalf of the Sapphires that year at convention in Vegas, because no one believed it. My upline, my diamond upline didn't believe that I was doing this. Like I was even going to ask my team to push for this. And so the compound effect showed up 100%. So it's that combination of like big, bold faith you going after what you know the Lord has placed in your path, having the right timing, so you're pushing yourself into momentum. The company is pushing you into momentum with all the things they're offering you, and then getting your team in momentum. And it gives me chills still to this day, because my team needed to see that big win after us having been at Emerald for 3.5 years. And so that's really what showed my community what was possible for them too. It was 100% worth the push. And that was how we got unstuck.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well, Robin, this was so good. I echo everything Christina said, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know there's a million things you could be doing, and you have a huge team yourself, so we appreciate you so much.
Oh, well, I appreciate you guys, and I hope that I added some value in some way.
You did. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. The chat's blowing up. I think they loved it before you even opened your mouth. Like, they had already decided they were going to love it. And I think it's because you show up on the screen and you own the screen. I don't know how you do that, but it's fantastic.
Well, I appreciate y'all so much. I have lots of respect for both you and Christina, and love you bunches. Y'all have a good night.
See you in a couple weeks. Bye, friend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.